Topping our newscast today, over the last few months, the Guam Memorial Hospital has received dozens of letters from vendors either threatening credit hold or placing them on credit hold. Some urgently needed medicine. PNC's Janela Carrera reports the hospital's debt is now at over $10 million.
Relief will be coming to GMH by next fiscal year when the sales tax goes into effect. But until then, the public hospital continues to struggle daily with funding shortages. PNC obtained via FOIA dozens of letters from vendors either threatening to place the hospital on credit hold or actually placing them on credit hold. In some instances, medical suppliers refused to ship urgently needed items until payment was received. For example, on January 5th, GMH ordered from Bexalta 2 cases of albumin, a medication that is used to treat various conditions resulting from blood loss or liver failure. About a month later, GMH followed up on its request, saying, quote, "Item is urgently needed for patient use, currently 0 on hand," end quote. Bexalta responded a day later, saying, quote, "I won't be able to ship this order until payment has been made on previous orders." Again, GMH sent another request to Bexalta on January 2nd, saying, quote, "Urgent. Need confirmed shipping information on these 2 purchase orders. Due to surge usage, we have gone to 0 stock on immune globulin, and it is urgently required," end quote. Bexalta agreed to ship the products, but noted that there would be a delay in getting the products to Guam. So GMH wrote back a couple weeks later, saying, quote, "Need confirmation these purchase orders will arrive Guam on February 12, 18, as you have previously stated. Items are urgently required, and the delay in receiving the products are causing numerous problems," end quote. Bexalta generously agreed to send the critically needed immunotherapy medication, but gave GMH a stern warning, saying, quote, "Going forward, orders won't be processed until payment has been made on previous orders." One of the bigger accounts is local vendor MedFarm. On February 20th, MedFarm rejected an order because GMH's balance grew to $400,000. MedFarm's CFO wrote, quote, "I am so sorry, but $400,000? We have been asking, begging for payment over past 2 months. As soon as we get a decent payment, credit hold will be released," end quote. About a week later, GMH made good and paid down over $100,000, and credit hold was lifted, even if it still had a balance of more than $250,000, with MedFarm writing it, quote, "Supports GMH, but we must be paid for the supplies delivered to GMH so that we may pay our vendors," end quote. The hospital's trash bins at one point were filled to the brim with no processing from trash collectors because of an overdue balance. On December 18, the hospital's chief of environmental services warned management that its compactors and other waste bins were full, saying, quote, "Biotrash will accumulate to approximately 800 pounds per day. Please advise when I can have checks for both vendors," end quote. Some vendors don't bother responding to requests for quotations because of past due invoices. Gulf Coast Pharmaceuticals Plus, in an email dated February 7th, wrote, quote, "We have most of these items in stock and ready to ship as we have become the largest supplier in the U.S. for IV fluids. But I don't want to waste your guys' times with quotes because we can't fill the orders until the past due invoices are taken care of." Adding, quote, "Until those are done or I at least have confirmation that payment is on the way, it doesn't make much sense to quote you on these items as we may not have them by the time that AP gets everything cleared up," end quote. The account rep ends by saying, quote, "I'm always fighting for you guys, but my hands are tied on this one," end quote.
You can read more online at PacificNewsCenter.com.